Okay, I'm going to go through each of the questions on all the programming questions from Moodle. So there is a sheet entitled 03.all programming questions. So if you refer to that as I go through, and I'll give the answers for each of those. So question 1 refers to get main menu choice, and the purpose of this one is to add validation so that the menu choice can be between 1 and 9 inclusively. So we need a do loop until, so that has straight away put a validation loop in there, which means that we will not progress with the code until we enter a value that is between 1 and 9 inclusively. Note we can't use 0 because if we look at the menu here, the menu goes from 1 to 9. So there is our loop. The next part of it says that the user should not be able to enter anything other than an integer value, which means that we need a try and catch. So this will try the statement out, and I'm going to actually set that to a rogue value of 0. The other part of the question says if the user enters an invalid menu option, it must display the message incorrect menu option. Please try again. So if the choice is less than 1 or the choice is greater than 9, that means it will be invalid. Then console write line, and I'm going to put in there the message that it wants me to display. Okay, so that's question 1. Notice that I've done the try and catch. You would only do that if they say that it's to validate that you cannot enter text, to validate that it will only accept integers. Remember, to validate means that it's going to go round and round and round and keep asking you until you enter a valid value. Okay, question 1 is done. Question 2 on that sheet of papers refers to the get row column. So the question, it has no validation for the coordinates, and it should not be possible to choose an option that is outside the range. Well, the coordinates are from the range 0 to 9, including 0 and 9. Again, the validation, we put the validation around each input. So we're going to carry on asking them for a column until they enter one that's between 0 and 9 inclusively. And we will do exactly the same for the row. We will continue asking for a row until they enter one that is between 0 and 9 inclusively. Now it does say enter a message invalid coordinates, please re-enter. So this is where we need the if statement. If the column is less than 0, e.g. -1 or lower, or the column is greater than 9, like 10, 11, 12, then display the error message. And I'm just going to copy and paste that for quickness into here, remembering to change that for row and that for row. Okay, so that's question 2 from that sheet of paper done. And that will not allow us to progress past the columns until I've entered the valid one. It would not allow us to pass the row. Depending upon the way that this question is asked in the exam, it could be that they want you to enter a column and a row first and then validate both, in which case you would have your loop at the end and your full do around everything. It's just an alternative way of asking that question. Right, question 3 relates to display menu, and this one it just wanted you to add a further few options to show that you can do a write line. So I'm going to put save again, was set up ships manually. And display instructions. Okay, I'm doing this for quickness. but you would have to do that identical. It then tells us it wants you to create a new subroutine called display instructions, and it's just going to display something. That means it's not going to be a function because it doesn't return a value. It's going to be a procedure. Display instructions, and I'm just, for quickness, I'm going to put that. Because rather than type everything out. What it then wants us to do is look at the main and alter this. So if they choose option 6, it's going to call that display instructions. We do it like that. Okay, I'll just show this working now because we've added a few things in there, because that's question 3 now done. So we can see all our menu options. So I choose 3. Sorry, not option 3. Display instructions number 6. There's instructions, and we can start a new game. If I choose something off the grid, -1, invalid. Choose something again, 10, 1, 1. It accepts them. Okay, so we know everything works. I just didn't test the letters on the menu. I'll try that now. F, incorrect. 0 is incorrect. 10 is incorrect. So we're confident that question 1, 2 and 3 now work. Question 4 was related to shots. Now there have been a few different variations of this one. Always read the question and do what it asks for. So if you get something like this, don't just go with this question. Have a look what is asked for by the question. In terms of my proposed question, it's only going to add a shot if you make a valid move. So we're going to add a number of shots, and again, if they tell you to add a variable, do the variable that they request, don't change the name. So add a number of shots. I'm going to have to send this to the make player move, and it's not going to like it because make player move does not have that number of coordinates. There we go. It now does have that number of parameters. Oh, I said coordinates, I meant parameters. Okay, so we've brought that in as a parameter. When we fire a correct shot, then we're going to increment that. Here's a correct shot, and here is a correct shot. Okay, and we want to display the message, you have made X number of shots. So I'm just going to put that at the end, and I only need to put it once. You have made, and number of shots, and shots so far. So that would display that. So we're going to go back to play game, and this one we want to alter the routine so that if 30 moves are made, the game is over. So we're going to add an else if here, else if number of shots equals 30, then console write line no more shots, game over. Okay, loop until game 1 or number of shots equals 30. I've put that as an else if, and that is because on the 30th shot you could have won. And if that wasn't an else if, it would say all ships sunk followed by no more shots left, game over. So that stops that happening. Okay, so that fully works now. I'm not going to go through and test all that, but you can. Okay, question number 5 then is looking at set up ships. So set up ships, we've got 5 ships in there. and it wants us to add a new ship. So I'm going to look at the main. First thing we're going to need to do is change the number of ships to 5. We're going to have to set up ships, and the new ship it wants is a let's have a look what ship, a cruiser. So ships 5 dot name equals cruiser, ships 5 dot size equals 4. Okay, so we've done that. If we test this now, we should see the cruiser displayed without being hidden. So there we can see it's not hidden. Let's just try it again. Probably be in the same place because I've not added the randomized part of the code. There we go. What we also then need to alter is have a look at the check win routine, and this just needs an or statement added to the end. Change that one to C for cruiser, and we also need to check the print board, and again add that to the end, but for a cruiser. That will mean that it checks that cruiser for a winning position, and when we look at the board, put that in the wrong place, didn't I? Look. There we go, take that out of there and put that down there. Now it shouldn't display the cruiser. There we go, hidden. And if I go for my 4, 9, we've got a hit. That's hit the cruiser. Okay, so that's questions 1 to 5 completed and gone through on the video. Thank you very much. Do practice at these. As we said, we've got that done in 12 minutes, having a look at those. There's lots more to practice with. Thank you very much.